mostly light traffic here in West Covina. Christina, can you let me know where we're streaming? Whoa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome everybody as you join us live on abc7.com and our 24/7 streaming apps. You can see that West Covina is in pursuit here. They have a failure to yield. Been chasing this guy for about 15 minutes. There are 6 black and whites right on his tail here. He is blowing through stop signs, blowing through red lights, refusing to pull over and making some really erratic moves. You can see those innocent motorists pulling over at the sound of those sirens. But this driver just continuing to push the pedal to the metal, especially every time that primary unit even shows a hint of attempting a possible pit maneuver, which it does appear has been authorized. We see that primary unit occasionally coming up on the left rear of that vehicle, and just a little bit too fast for an effective pit maneuver. But here he comes again, stepping on it right past La Breda Avenue on Puente Avenue now. Slowing down just a little bit for that intersection, but he has been mostly blowing through these red lights at full speed and making some of these wild last-minute turns without any braking whatsoever. Again, he is now westbound on Puente Avenue. Again, this is about 15 minutes old. This guy is just refusing to pull over, and you got to wonder whether that is his vehicle or whether it's a stolen vehicle or what else may be behind those tinted windows. Here comes another wild left turn right over the double yellow lines into oncoming lanes of traffic now on Hollenbeck Avenue. Eastbound Hollenbeck. Eastbound, right? No, northbound. He's northbound. Got it. Northbound Hollenbeck. Northbound Hollenbeck. Look at that primary unit. Another wild left turn here. That primary unit really trying to inch up closer to this suspect, but every time he does, you see what happens. Either a wild turn or he just steps on it, and he is continuing to do about just about 10 over the speed limit, maybe a little bit more at times. But most of these turns appear to be completely random, but now he's pushing closer to 65 miles per hour on San Bernardino Road off of Hollenbeck Avenue. West Covina with a full a full pursuit package in tow here. You can see another random right turn here, squeezing through traffic. Traffic has been mostly light here as we make our way through the San Gabriel Valley, now on Azusa Avenue, coming up on Front Street, blowing through more red lights. And it looks like, is there an airship overhead, Justin? Okay, I see. Yeah, there's the night sun. There's the night sun. That is likely, if I'm not mistaken, is that Sheriff? Yeah, LA County Sheriff with a helicopter now in position to track the suspect, helping out West Covina. Looks like he was making for a U-turn there, now making another random left onto Cypress Street. Left-hand turn onto Cypress Street. That tint is just about pitch black. It's just impossible to see inside of that car. Again, looks to be a Toyota Camry, newer model, about 50 miles per hour down Cypress Street. Officers trying to inch up on that left-hand side, but that pit maneuver, while it appears to be in the cards here, has just not, they just haven't had the right opportunity to go ahead and do it. Another red light here. Looks like the go-ahead has been given. These officers are pit qualified, but they just haven't had the right opportunity to pull up right behind them and effectively execute that pit. Now you've got some additional pedestrian traffic on the opposite side of the road here, but for the most part, you can see this is a very quiet night here along Cypress Street, where once again we are encountering very little traffic. He could be going much faster, but right now he's only doing about the speed limit. You can see a number of black and whites right behind him. At last count, 6 West Covina officers in this pursuit. Another wild left. A wild left and into what is certainly more of a residential neighborhood now. A few more cars in the opposite direction. You can see that night sun from the LA County Sheriff's Department helping out West Covina. That primary West Covina unit still calling out the shots here. Copy. I think I hear traffic on Covina PD. Yeah, he wants it. He wants it. They're continuing northbound San Bernardino Road now in Baldwin Hills. Here comes another left turn, another wild left turn. That's going to be Orange Avenue, a westbound turn, or a left turn rather, onto Orange Avenue. West Covina really going for that pit maneuver, but they just haven't had the right opportunity to execute. That primary unit wants it. He keeps pulling up right behind him, but just has not had the chance to safely pull this or spin this vehicle out. So they're continuing now in a much more narrow residential street here, about 20 miles per hour on Ken Oak Drive. Slowing down dramatically, only about 20 miles per hour, well within the threshold for a pit maneuver, but you see all of this property, all of those parked cars, and in a narrow street like this, you just aren't going to see a pit maneuver unless the opportunity provides it and unless there's enough space to effectively conduct that pit maneuver without hurting anybody or damaging innocent property here. So another left turn here, and here comes the pit. Here it comes. Here it comes. He's going to go for it if he comes up on another intersection. Another intersection might allow him to do it. Here it is on the right. On the right side, he keeps pulling back. He keeps pulling back. He's gotten so close, so many close calls for a pit maneuver here. Here he is on the right side now on Badillo Street, picking up a little steam, and I think he might have missed a good opportunity there. Might have missed a good opportunity, still only doing about 35 miles per hour through another red light. Through another red light, and now you see that primary unit starting to fall back just a little bit, but he's looking for that opportunity. He's had a couple of chances, but he didn't take it. He didn't feel comfortable taking it for probably great reasons, but from up here, it just looks like he's had so many close calls, but you saw on those narrow streets, so many parked vehicles, and you just have to have the right amount of space to do it, and unfortunately, they just haven't had the right amount of pavement to play with here. But we're now on Ramona Boulevard, another wild left here at a high speed. West Covina looking for that pit opportunity. Here he comes on the right again, that primary unit closing in on the right side, and here he is evading the pit maneuver. Evading the pit maneuver, a right at the red light onto Main Avenue. A right turn on the Main Avenue from Ramona Boulevard. These are very, very haphazard turns, very random, no clear destination in mind. This joyride is continuing through the San Gabriel Valley, now in Baldwin Hills, as West Covina is looking for a chance to spin this vehicle out of control and bring this pursuit to an end. They've had a couple of chances, but so far they have been unable to stop this vehicle. Now doing right around the speed limit again, about 45, 50 miles per hour. Another right turn now onto Los Angeles Street off of Main Avenue. Still 6 West Covina officers in tow here. LA County Sheriff with their Night Sun on it. That helicopter providing some really helpful assistance to the West Covina Police Department here. And now it looks like he's picking up a little more speed, about 70 miles per hour on Los Angeles Street here in Baldwin Hills. Baldwin Park, rather. Baldwin Park. I think I said Baldwin Hills a few times. Baldwin Park, rather, as he continues at a pretty good clip here in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Thank you. And word coming into our assignment desk now, this is a grand theft auto suspect, what appears to be a stolen vehicle, a stolen Toyota Camry out of West Covina. You can see they are continuing to keep the pressure on him here as he makes another random turn there onto Azusa Canyon Road. Again, we're in Baldwin Park, adjacent to West Covina. He's done a few loops around the area, but not really predictable enough to set up for any kind of a spike strip. Although that's not out of the question. Right now, they just haven't had the chance. But in the meantime, they have given the go-ahead for a pit maneuver if they have an opportunity. So far, they have not been able to execute. But you can see the traffic is relatively light here. So if he slows down just a little bit, we might see another attempt here on that left side. Here comes that primary unit riding that center line in the median there, maybe looking to come around his left side. The vehicle still doing about 45 miles per hour. It's a little bit fast for a pit maneuver. Southbound Irwindale Ave. Southbound Irwindale Ave. Here he comes around the right side. And he really has had so many close shots here, but they just can't manage to execute that pit. That primary unit, I got to tell you, that was a good opportunity there, but he must have seen that car up ahead, and you just don't want to have any risk of collateral damage in a situation like this. Cutting through the gas station. Is it a gas station? Yep, cutting through here. Cutting through and coming back onto Sunset Avenue. We've been on Sunset a few times already. We're a little bit further to the west now, but another wide open road here with a median that may allow that West Covina unit to execute that pit one more time, or at least attempt to execute a pit maneuver here if he slows down a little bit. Right now, again, just going a little bit too fast, making it a little bit too dangerous for a pit. Unclear how many people are inside this vehicle. As we mentioned, those windows are very heavily tinted, only to say that the driver is wanted for grand theft auto. It appears to be a stolen silver Toyota Camry, newer model, apparently out of West Covina, and they are continuing to apply pressure here, and every time they do, you see them speeding up, upwards of now 55 miles per hour under the freeway. That's the 10 freeway going back in the opposite direction we came from earlier, but generally covering the same territory, which may allow for more units to cover this area and potentially set up for a spike strip. Back in West Covina, turning onto West Covina Parkway now off of Sunset Ave. Here comes another attempt. Here comes the attempt. A pit maneuver, and the officer absolutely chickened out there. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. This is incredible. I mean, he's had several opportunities to go ahead and spin this vehicle out. He may just be looking to take a peek inside the vehicle. Doesn't appear to be a very good attempt at these pit maneuvers. These are just kind of warning shots, I would say, to try and apply a little more pressure. But here comes a hand out the window, the driver gesturing and waving at that officer. Another turn here, and we'll see what this, look, there comes the pit, there it is. A weak shove of that bumper, and really a half-hearted pit attempt there at best. So it's an interesting situation. They've given the go-ahead for the pit. They don't seem to be very confident, or at least that primary unit doesn't seem to be very confident in spinning this guy out. And so far, it looks like this driver is clearly taking advantage of this situation. I got to tell you, we've had at least a half a dozen opportunities for a really good pit, and obviously the go-ahead's been given. We see the damage there. He made decent contact there, but it just wasn't strong enough to disable this vehicle. What a sight here. Really an interesting turn of events here. They've given the go-ahead, and now things have really amped up. Now that they've gone ahead and made contact with that vehicle, they're more committed, and so is the driver of that vehicle. The driver of that stolen vehicle is now even more intent on outrunning these officers, refusing to pull over, and really starting to speed things up here as he makes his way down Glendora Avenue. Another right turn, a random right turn there. That's going to be onto Merced Avenue off of Glendora. Again, this is territory that he is familiar with, as we have been here on several occasions, at least in this general area. It's obvious now as he makes his way into oncoming lanes of traffic, another wild right turn onto California Avenue. Very obvious that his adrenaline is pumping after that pit attempt, and he is not showing any signs of surrender whatsoever. So really speeding up. I don't even think he's going to give him another chance to pit him here. He's really putting a lot more space between him and that primary unit, and that primary unit, who has still remained the same primary unit throughout this pursuit, has just not managed to have the effect of applying pressure or disabling the vehicle. I mean, he has had several opportunities, he or she, but so far it has had the opposite effect of just antagonizing this driver and really amping up the dangerous driving. I mean, the erratic nature of these turns, and at some of these intersections, speeding right through without any even light braking at some points, just setting up for a real disaster if he encounters cross traffic. Now making his way onto Service Avenue, a right turn onto Service Avenue at 45 miles per hour in a very residential street. He keeps finding these residential areas, slows down occasionally, but I think now that he's feeling that primary officer's pit attempt there, he is just intent on trying to outrun these West Covina officers. It is clearly a full moon here in the San Gabriel Valley, as we have had about 14 separate pursuits throughout the day today in the Southland. This is just the most recent one, and you can see he's now toying with this officer. This is a real game of cat and mouse, gesturing at that officer with his hand out the window. And now the vehicle comes to a stop. Vehicle comes to a stop. The driver with his hands out. Driver with his hands out. Officers with their guns drawn. And this might do it. This might be the end. They're actually partially blocking the driver's side there. We'll see if he is able to crawl out. I don't think he may or may not be able to open that driver's side door, but it looks like he's finally giving up here. The vehicle coming to a complete stop. He's communicating with that officer. Two hands out the window. You see a phone? I don't see the phone. He's holding a phone in his hand. There's a phone in his hand. Difficult to make out. It looks like he's communicating with somebody on the phone as he gestures towards these officers. We'll come around and get a better look at the driver here, but he's gesturing at these officers as he's communicating on the phone. He's almost looks like he's FaceTiming. All right, if he wants to open up that driver's side door, he can open up the driver's side door. It's unclear what they're ordering him to do, but whatever they're ordering him to do, it doesn't appear that he's obeying. Where'd he come from? This is a reality show. They're shooting a reality show in the middle of this pursuit. You can see a cameraman and audio tech jumping out of the SUV to capture the action from behind. You have an officer with his gun drawn as they film a TV show at the termination of this pursuit. This is a new one, guys. We've never actually caught this. Caught me off guard for sure. Now you see continuing to communicate with the driver of the vehicle, who is still has his hands up, but still won't let go of that phone. Won't let go of the phone. You got to wonder if maybe there's a language barrier or something like that. But for whatever reason, it doesn't look like he is. Clearly, he's not obeying with these orders here. So we have a complicated set of circumstances here. You've got a number of officers on the suspect's left and his right with their guns drawn. We can only see the driver. No idea if there's anybody in that back seat or in the passenger seat. It looks like a male suspect. It's a male suspect now with his torso out the driver's side window, very agitated. The door won't open. Door won't open. He's crawling out with his hands up in the air. Hands up in the air. Now walking towards that primary officer. You've got a television crew trying to stay behind that officer. I wouldn't say they're keeping their distance, but they are clearly behind this officer, capturing all of this with a much, really close-up views here. We'll be interested to see the video on the other side here, but right now it looks like they are finally able to detain the suspect with his hands on his head, handcuffs being placed on the driver, and I did not see them clear the vehicle, but they must have. Just judging from the posture here, it appears they've peeked inside the vehicle at the very least, and they must be confident that there's nobody else inside that vehicle. However, I got to tell you, with those tinted windows, I don't know how they were able to clear that vehicle. We can only assume that it was only the driver inside that car, but I did not see them adequately clear that vehicle. So I think the supervisors will have a field day with this pursuit here in West Covina, and I guess that'll be a wrap for this one. But man, an interesting conclusion to this pursuit, and well, what can you say? And now they've cleared the vehicle. They're going to pop the trunk and double check. But really interesting to see them abandon that vehicle like that without, really checking to see at first whether they really had a vehicle that was empty there without any remaining threats inside the car. Yeah, just a wild ending to this pursuit in a way that we haven't really seen very often here. But just when you thought you've seen it all, this has been an interesting one. But man, what a wild and weird end to this pursuit. One suspect in custody. The Camry has been emptied. We're at the intersection of California Avenue and Cameron Avenue with this pursuit now concluding in about as best case scenario as you can imagine. Fortunately, nobody hurt here, and another one for the books here in West Covina. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.